Okay, so I would be starting with the lecture. Here, if you can look at the hills, okay, we know that we have Himalayas in the north of India. The Himalayas which are north of India, they are actually divided into the Trans-Himalayas. So we have Trans-Himalayas that contains of three major ranges. So if I say Himalayas, I'm seeing Himalayas. In Himalayas, there are important ranges like there is Trans Himalayas. Okay, there is Trans Himalayas, there is Great Himalayas, Trans Himalayas, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas. We have the Middle Himalayas and we have the Shivalik Hills. So Shivalik Hills. So we have Trans Himalayas, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas and the Shivalik Hills. Okay. So these three, that is the Karakoram, Ladakh and Zaskar. So Trans Himalayas has Karakoram, Ladakh and Zaskar. So you have Karakoram, Ladakh and Zaskar in the Trans Himalayas. Okay, so this is the Trans Himalayas, right? Then all of these three. So this is in Kashmir, this is also in Kashmir, this is also in Kashmir. So all these, that is first is your Karakoram, Ladakh and Zaskar. How do you remember north and south? You remember the trick, that is Kala Azar. Okay, Kala Azar. Okay, Kala Azar. Kala, Karakoram. La, Ladakh. Azar, Zar, Zaskar. Okay, so remember the disease Kala Azar, Kala Azar. That is Karakoram, Ladakh and Zaskar. Okay, so remember the north-south location of the Trans Himalayas, which is Karakoram, Ladakh and Zaskar. Then you have your Great Himalayas. We have the Great Himalayas. The Great Himalayas. Okay, the Great Himalayas. And then you have these small ranges. This is your Pir Panjal range. There is another important range, that is Dhauladhar range. Okay, so the Pir Panjal range and Dhauladhar range, they are also part of Himalayas. Pir Panjal and Dhauladhar bhi Himalayas का ही हिस्सा है. ठीक है, तो we have Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, we have Great Himalayas, we have Pir Panjal, we have Dhauladhar. Okay, so these are a part of the Himalayas. Himalayas को locally पीर पंजल भी कहते हैं कश्मीर में, धौलाधार भी कहते हैं. ठीक है, तो धौलाधार रेंज भी हिमालयस का पार्ट है, पीर पंजल भी हिमालयस का पार्ट है. If I quickly revise, see what I'm studying. I am studying the Himalayan range. In the Himalayan range, the first is the Karakoram, then you have your Ladakh, then you have your Zaskar. So you have Karakoram, Ladakh and Zaskar. And here the Himalayas have not ended. These are the part of your Trans Himalayas. We have Greater Himalayas. Then there are local ranges like the Pir Panjal, Dhauladhar. So these are the local ranges. Pir Panjal and the Dhauladhar. ये हिमालयस का ही पार्ट है. किस में आते हैं मैम? मिडिल हिमालयाज में, ग्रेट हिमालयाज में, लेसर हिमालयाज में, शिवालिक्स में. देयर हैव बीन डिबेट्स अबाउट देम. Some they say they are a part of middle Himalayas, some consider them part of the middle Himalayas. So that is not important कि किस में आते हैं, but हाँ हिमालयाज में आते हैं, इतना ही important है. तो ट्रांस हिमालयाज में काराकोरम, लद्दाख, जास्कर, we have great Himalayas and locally ranges like the Pir Panjal range and Dhauladhar range, they are also the part of Himalayas. ठीक है, once this is done, we will see what is there in your Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. In Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, you have, so this in your Uttarakhand, you have this Mussoorie range. In Mussoorie, I know your dream is to go to Mussoorie, go to Labasna. ठीक है. So Mussoorie Range, I have been there, lovely place. ठीक है, दोस्त बन गए थे. ठीक है, तो दोस्तों के साथ गए हैं. So Mussoorie Range, Kumaon Range. ठीक है, so it's like these are there in your Uttaranchal, Uttarakhand. They are also the part of Himalayas. So Mussoorie Range and the Kumaon Range, they are also the part of Himalayas. Quickly revision. The Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas. Sorry, first is Trans Himalayas, then Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, and the Shivaliks. What are Himalayan ranges? The Himalayan ranges are the Trans Himalayas, Great Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, and Shivaliks. In the Trans Himalayas, we have Karakoram, Ladakh, and Zaskar. ठीक है, and apart from this, we studied some local ranges like the Pir Panjal, Dhauladar, Kumaon, Mussoorie. These are the part of your Himalayas. Okay, this is the northwestern in India. In the northwestern, we have seen this hills. Then here, let's see something. Your favorite, my favorite, UPSC's favorite, that is the northeast. Here. In the northeast, we have important hills, and generally UPSC asks question on these hills. So the important hills is, remember this short form, I generally use this short form DMAM. These are the hills in your अरुणाचल प्रदेश. ठीक है, हाउ डू यू रिमेंबर दिस? अगर DM बनना है तो AM पे उठना पड़ेगा. DM बनना है तो AM पे उठना पड़ेगा. ये अरुणाचल प्रदेश की इंपॉर्टेंट हिल्स है. ठीक है, दैट इज D इज दी दाफला. D इज दी दाफला हिल्स. M is the Miri Hills, A is the Abhor Hill, M is the Mishmi Hills. So DMAM. अगर DM बनना है तो AM पे उठना पड़ेगा. So Dafla Hills, Miri Hills, Abhor Hills, Mishmi Hills. Okay, these all are in where? These all are in Arunachal Pradesh. Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. The name of the tribes also. ठीक है, ये tribes के भी नाम है. Abhor is a tribe name of a tribe. Mishmi is a name of a tribe. Miri is a name of the tribe. So DMAM. So this is in your Arunachal Pradesh. Here, if you see this, you have your Darjeeling Hills. You have the Darjeeling Hills. So if I just quickly see, if I quickly memorize, ठीक है, first let's complete this. Okay, so this is Darjeeling Hills, DMAM. Then in the Arunachal and Nagaland, across the Arunachal and Nagaland, you have a hill. These hills are your Patkay Hills. Okay, they are Patkay Hills. ठीक है, so we have the Patkay Hills. Where are they? They are in the Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland. I hope you know the north-south कैसे होते हैं states. The north-south states in the northeastern. ठीक है. If this is your northeast, if this is the northeast, you have Aru, Nagaland, Manipur, and Mizoram. We have a short form that is Arunamami. Arunamami is the शॉर्ट फॉर्म. ठीक है, तो ये हिल्स क्या है? ये जो पटकाई हिल्स हैं, ये किस में है? अरुणाचल प्रदेश एंड नागालैंड में है. अरुणाचल प्रदेश एंड नागालैंड में अरुणा है. ठीक है, अरुणा इज इन पटकाई, पटकाई इज इन अरुणा. पटकाई हिल्स जो हैं ये अरुणा में है. अरुणा, पटकाई हिल्स इज इन अरुणा. दैट मीन्स पटकाई हिल्स इज इन अरुणाचल प्रदेश एंड नागालैंड. Okay, in Nagaland you have another hill which is the Naga Hills. So in Nagaland you have another hills which is the Naga Hill. Then we have Manipur. In Manipur we have the Manipuri Hills. We have the Manipuri Hills. And in Mizoram we have the Mizo Hills. In Mizoram we have the Mizo Hills. Okay, so this is your Mizo Hills. ठीक है, so if I say the map of the northeast, Patkai, Naga, Manipur, Mizo Hills. ठीक है, Patkai Hills, which is there in Arunachal and Nagaland, Naga Hills, which is there in Nagaland, the Manipuri Hills in Manipur, you have your Mizo Hills in the Mizoram. Okay? And another important range that you have is this Lalmatol Range. This Lalmatol Range is also there in Manipur. This Lalmatol Range is also in Manipur. 2-3 important ranges in the northeast that you should know. You have the Mikir range. Okay, this is the Mikir range. We will see where it is. It is not in one state, it's across 3 states. So Mikir range, Rengma range. This is the Rengma range. If you have your atlas, you can also find this in your atlas. If you don't find it in your atlas, we are at least showing it to you here. Okay, so Mikir range, Rengma range, Barel range. Okay, this is the hills of the northeast. These are the hills of the northeast. If I quickly revise what hills I have studied so far. Okay, we have Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, Great Himalayas, Pir Panjal, Dhauladar, Mussoorie, Kumaon, right? We have the Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, Great Himalayas, Pir Panjal, Mussoorie, Kumaon. Sorry, this is Mussoorie, this is Kumaon. Okay? This is your Mussoorie, this is Kumaon, this is Dhauladar. ठीक है, ये तो हमने पढ़ लिया. Now moving on to the northeastern states. You have your DMAM, right? DMAM. These are in Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh. So you have Dafla, Miri, Abhor, Mishmi. You have another important range that is the Patkay Hills. Patkay Hills. This is there in Arunachal and Nagaland. You have your Naga Hills. You have your Arunama. This is your Manipuri Hills. Manipuri Hills. These are your Mizo Hills. Then we studied one more important range. That was your Lalmatol Range. This was also there. Lalmatol. Then we studied Barel Range, Mikir Range, Rengma Range. So Barel Range, Mikir Range, Rengma Range. Okay, this is the Lalmatol Range. These are the hills. These are the important hills of the northeastern and Himalayan, western Himalaya. So if we look at the spans of Himalayas, अगर हम Himalayas देखें, क्वेश्चन जो यूपीएससी में पूछा था, क्या हिमालय सिर्फ 5 स्टेट्स में है? ठीक है, लेट्स सी. अगर हम ये नीचे की हिल्स नहीं भी कंसिडर करते, फॉर सम रीजन इफ यू डोंट कंसिडर, देन ऑल्सो यू हैव जम्मू कश्मीर, उत्तराखंड, योर हिमाचल प्रदेश, you have your West Bengal, you have your Arunachal Pradesh, you have your Nagaland. ठीक है, so it is not only in 5 states. The point that I'm trying to bring, Jammu Kashmir में है, you have in your Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, you have here in the Assam also, here in the West Bengal also, you have in Sikkim also. ठीक है, West Bengal, Darjeeling Hills is in West Bengal, right? So West Bengal में है, सिक्किम में है, तो 5 तो यहीं खत्म हो जाते हैं. अरुणाचल प्रदेश में भी है. So even if you don't consider these hills, some people, actually some geographers, they say these Nagaland, Naga Hills, Manipur Hills, Mizo Hills, they're not part of Himalayas. That is what it is being said as of now. Even if we don't consider Naga, Manipur and Mizo, then also it is more than 5 states. Why? Because Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, West Bengal, Arunachal Pradesh. You have more than in 5 states. So that statement was wrong. Okay, we will look at that question. Then, so this is your the hills of or the western Himalayas and the eastern Himalayas. ठीक है?